welcome to another Tales from a Professional Nerd. My name is BryanCPSteele, and I will be your nerd today and any other day that you watch one of my silly little shows. Hi, everybody. So let's first off, I hope you're having a great day. I hope it's a wonderful afternoon, evening, or morning, whenever you happen to be watching this, wherever you are. And I want to say today is a special episode. It's a special episode because it is. I have been looking into doing an unboxing for one of my at this point one of my longest standing friends. I've known uh, I've known this person for God, 30 years, 31 years. He was one of the first people I met when I moved down to Lafayette, Indiana, to go to college at Purdue. And he has always been just an awesome guy. He was the manager at the game store that the first thing you do when you go to a new town as a gamer is find the game store, find your FLGS, and in my case, the FLGS was a small game store, part of a chain that I didn't know about. I only knew of the one that was in town, called the Game Preserve, and the Game Preserve was easily one of the coolest hangouts that we had. It had a game room in the back. I spent many hours playing 40K and Fantasy and Blood Bowl and Jihad and then Vampire: The Eternal Struggle, and had a couple of role-playing games there. And I spent a lot of money and a lot of time and maxed out my first credit card there. But the Game Preserve was absolutely the heart of my early collegiate gaming career. It helped solidify my love for games. It helped solidify me knowing that these were my people. And Carlos had a lot to do with that. Carlos is the name of the manager and the friend in question. A little inside baseball, we did end up having we had our ups and downs, as you do with in life. But as true friendships go, uh, it came back around, and now I consider him one of my closest friends. And years and years and years ago, he was part. He's one of my He's one of my gamers. He's one of my dungeon masters. Like I play in one of his games and have multiple times in multiple settings and in multiple game systems, uh, through multiple different parties. Carlos has always been part of this, part of everything you see here. And one of the games that obviously we play a lot of D&D, but one of the D&D worlds that we play in is actually, or we haven't played in a while, but it was actually a game setting made by another one of our close friends, Riley Vickery, called Aquila. I believe he had a larger title to it, but the all of the files that I have on my computer and that he had printed and all of these things was all about Aquila. And Aquila is a fantasy setting that is kind of butted right up against Age of Sail, Black Powder. Like, it's just right quite to that point. And it's about nations at war, finding their various alliances, and heroes rising up. I don't want to be like it's a stereotypical fantasy, because that's not, it's definitely not. It has its own field, it has its own gods. It's a great game setting that Riley would run for us quite a bit. And somewhere along the chunk of time where Riley and Carlos lived in the same house, Carlos actually started running some Aquila stuff. And in the middle of that, somewhere in that chunk of gamer history in our local neck of the woods, Carlos started putting together a card game. And as someone who has put together a couple of card game engines before and sold a few of them, it is it is an absolute labor of love. There is especially if you're trying to make something that is different than whatever other game out there is like. And are you doing collectible? Are you doing trading? Is it just a big box game? Like there's a lot of things, a lot of facets that go into the process. Well, Carlos started this years and years and years ago, and it is a it's obviously a labor of love for him, but I cannot express to you how proud I am. I know that sounds so weird. He's one of my longtime friends, uh, but I'm so proud that he has taken what was our hobby, our the stuff that you sit around late at night around the game table and talk about. And he not only turned it into a card game, but he, without seeking external funding, without trying to find a company to just buy it from him, or all completely on his own, he created a legitimate card game that is for sale, and it is set in the Aquila universe. It is set in that history, or in that narrative, and um, it is completely hand done art. There's no Gen I and AI, no Gen AI in this. But part of this process, part of the love that he put into this is, each card tells a little bit of a story. It is something that, for all of us that played in Aquila, for all of us that knew part of this, um, looking through these cards bring back some very old and very kind of powerful memories. We had a lot of really good times together, and I wanted to. You'll note that this shrink wrap is still on this. So I told Carlos that I would. I wanted a copy of this anyway, but he came by late at night. It's actually surprised Natalie and I. Knocked on our door late at night and brought me my own copy of this game. And I told him that you didn't have to do that. I would have bought it. Blah blah blah. Do all the stuff, all the stuff. But in exchange for this amazing gift of not just a physical gift, but also um, the ability, the fact that he made this from scratch. No Kickstarters, no crowdfunders, no, hey, give me a GoFundMe. Like literally over years and years and years, put together all these assets, all these things, went to the various websites, got them made, paid to have this product created, and then is selling it. I am so unbelievably proud of him, and I hope after this unboxing, and we walk through a bunch of the cool stuff about this game, that you will follow the link in the description of this video and show him some love too. Not only because it's a cool game, but if you believe in the the grassroots gamer. The he has been a gamer forever, and the if you could believe in someone who has realized their dream to make this. I've always said, but I know I'm going off on tangents, but I can't. I This is going to be a somewhat emotional video, because I not only I'm doing an unboxing for a product, but I'm doing an unboxing for someone else, for someone who I'm very close to. One of my brothers from another mother. Um, this is a dream given form, and so I'm gonna make sure that I give this the respect that it deserves, and I hope that you guys will too. I hope that you will bop out and click on the link and show him that not every not every level of success is millions of dollars on a Kickstarter, or Hasbro coming in and scooping up something, or anything like that. Sometimes it is just knowing that your product, your baby, that the thing that you have put together and put your heart and soul in, um, can get out there and be and do what I say here on this channel all the time. The reason why we make games is to make people happy, and to spread a little bit of joy and give people a little bit of a escape, and to bring that to someone else's table sight unseen. My games go to, the things I've written, the stories I've written, the games I've made. They're being played who knows where by who knows what, but I know that it's making people happy out there. And I want that feeling for Carlos. I want him to know that a life of gaming, a life of being a gamer, a life of creation, of inspiring creations, will go on to other tables, to other places. And who knows, maybe Aquila will find a new life, that like Riley will see this game being played someplace, and it will inspire him to take the jump and write some more Aquila material. Like I, again, I know I'm philosophizing, but this is a big deal. I getting old. I'm getting old in old age. I'm getting all emotional in old age. But it's I really do hope that those of you out there who enjoy fun card games and hear in me the story of how this got put together, and where it came from. And hopefully, I know that my favorite character that I have ever played is in Aquila. And a version of that character is actually in the card game. So I'm going to find that. I'm going to find that card and show you when we do the unboxing. But like I said, I just before we dive in on this, I just wanted to make sure you knew the history of why I'm doing this. It's not a sponsored ad. It's not, it's not from one of my industry people that are like, hey, I'm going to send you some free stuff. Can you show people things? This is the reason I'm showing this to you is because I absolutely love what it represents, and love the people people behind it. The person behind it, Carlos, is he's my brother, and not really, but really, the family you choose. And I am really unbelievably proud of what he's done. So let me take a sip of my drink, and we'll crack open this shrink wrap and take a look at all the cool things. So the cool things initially, it came in a larger box. So the game itself comes in this box, but it came with some extra stuff. It came with a cool. Now I don't. Because I don't know, since this was given to me, I don't know if these are add-ons. I don't know if these are extra things that you have to purchase through the site. I don't want to say, I'm not going to say that this is all automatic. I'm just going to say this is what I was given, and obviously it's stuff that's available. So I was given, has a D12, a very large, chunky D12 that actually has the months of the year on it. It has, I know, shock and awe, 12 sides, 12 months. So there, you do in fact keep track of. I know that you keep track of the year when you play the game. So yeah, so I did help playtest this a long time ago. It has been a quite a hot minute since I've played, and I was going to open this up and get a couple of games in so I could tell you how it went and all that stuff. And I was like, no, for it to be a proper unboxing, a proper initial, oh my God, check this out. I want you to get the real reaction out of me, not a canned reaction. So I didn't do that. This is literally just all the shrink wrap is still there. And then the goal is to get a bunch of people together to actually play this. And then maybe I'll do a part 2 and tell you how it goes, or just give you an update, or whatever. But All right, I know I feel like I'm very scattered in this episode, but it's because this is really important and it has my heart all a flutter. Um, so yeah, I got the big box, which we'll do in a second. We got a D12 with a bunch of the months of the year on it. A whole pile of different sleeves. Uh, so, for those of you who don't know, I generally don't sleeve any of my cards. I play Magic, and my cards are unsleeved, unless they have to be because they're like two-sided cards or something. Um, and I often get quite a few looks of, unsleeved heathen. I just don't. I always have looked at it as, unless it is literally something that requires it, or something that I'm trying real desperately to make the most out of, it lasts a long time, or it's a game aid, I generally just don't sleeve. So I got 2 packs of sleeves for the cards, or I guess 3 packs of sleeves. And then in one of the packs of sleeves, are these. And I remember these when they were just cardboard cutouts. They're acetate little slip covers. So this will be important when we get to the actual cards themselves. So there's these little gaps and turns and sides. These will be, and there's a whole bunch of them, because these are going to be very important on the actual cards themselves. There are different numbers and values that you will set and change on the card. These allow you to choose, basically. I'll leave one of these out so I can show you what I mean when we get to the cards themselves. There are cards that will have different levels of asset points kind of things on them, and you need to determine during like a planning phase what what you're getting out of that particular card. And these little slip covers, an ingenious idea, I might add. I did not have that. Suddenly that sounded kind of self-serving. No, it was just a great idea, that Carlos came up with. That it lets you show exactly what part of the card, what is the active stage on the card or whatnot. It also came with a little pamphlet, a short story by Riley, the inventor of the world of Aquila, called The Duke's Gambit. On the back, it's got a little piece of art of a couple of women in a graveyard. And then on the back it says, "Are there limits to corruption? In Aquila, corruption and ambition are unbound." And it's just a little short story that talks about a duke who is a very important character. And then in the very back page of the little thing, there's a small map of the Aquila area. So a little map of the world that talks about the different things. Oh, and you know what? I'm actually going to go ahead and read this that talks about the map. Above is the map is and I screwed it up already. Above is a map of the kingdom of Aquila, circa the War of Succession. The mighty capital, the city of Aquila, is fed by many surrounding farming, lumber, and fishing villages, and is home to a vast manufacturing and craftsman network that exports out to the 4 provinces: Cumbria, Falcon, Grossi, and Sudania. Most of the major battles happened in and around the capital, and many of the scars left by those conflicts still remain. The lands to the west of the capital were largely unexplored, dominated by uncivilized tribes of savages. So this is just basically a little bit of fluff, a little bit of lore and narrative to kind of get you into the feel of what's actually happening in the game itself. Now let's do the big thing. So before I take the shrink off, we'll take a look at it. So it's got a little like shattered stained glass image. You know what? I'm gonna get for the glare. I'm gonna get the shrink off first, so you guys can see what I'm looking at here. But I'm not opening it yet. We're gonna do the real unboxing in a second. But I'll get the thing out of here. So it's got glossy. So it's got the Aquila symbol, and then it's got like kind of a shattered stained glass look of a handful of the different cards. Uh, that's the cover. It says so 3 to 4 players. Is it 3 to 4? Yeah, 3 to 4 players, ages 13 and up, and it takes 1+ hours to play. Now the reason this is 1+ and not like 1 to 2 or anything like that, because some of this game you could drag it out by specifically not doing things, like it's a lot of it would depend on gameplay. But it would take roughly at least an hour to play. On the back, we have a couple more pictures of some characters, and then so the story itself. Let me read. The king of Aquila has been killed in a freak hunting accident. Aquila, the bright center of the world for centuries, the rock of civilization that all others look up to, has been thrown into turmoil. To be sure, there is an heir, but the prince has been kidnapped, and his captors remain in the shadows. Will the king's brother step forward to take the throne? Or will the knights that have always protected the kingdom enact martial law? Or perhaps the church will set up a theocracy until the prince is found. In Aquila Aflame, you take control of one of the 4 provinces that are contending for the throne. Mighty Cumbria, home of the barbarian tribes, seafaring Grossi, an island province just off the east coast from the capital, Backwater Falcon, with all of her secrets and spies, or bright Sudania, the center of learning and arcane knowledge. The truly unique game mechanic allows you to customize the strengths and weaknesses of your province at the beginning of the game. You decide whether to use military, politics, or diplomacy, but your resources are limited and enemies are everywhere. And then it's got a little bar that says it will be a long year of struggle that will set the once powerful Aquila aflame with civil war. In the end, only one can be king. Take your rightful place upon the throne. Aquila Aflame is a card game for 3 to 4 players, ages 13 and up. Games take about an hour or more when the action heats up. Okay, so now let's get this thing open. The first time. Oh, packing material. So we have some packing material, which means I will have room for the sleeves and stuff. In here we have 2 decks of cards. The Aquila Aflame rulebook, which we will take a look in a second, and then this cool thing, little the place cards. So it's a map, or not a place card, it's a cheat sheet. So it shows the map of the world, and on the back it's got your cheat sheet, your actions that you can take. And just real quick, so it's got a call out for the seasons. The winter season is January, February, December. You may take no offensive actions. In the spring, March, April, and May, there's no change. It's a regular game. In the summer, June, July, and August, you get +1 resources. And in the fall, September, October, November, -1 agriculture. Basically, the harvest is over. The turn sequence is the current player token moves. You know what? We're going to take a look in there, because this is obviously, since this is the cheat sheet, this is the abridged version. But it looks like there are cheat sheets. Hang on. I threw one of the cheat sheets. So there are 4 cheat sheets, 1 for every player. So I'll put those back in the envelope so they don't get lost. And then we will take a look at, let's take a look at the cards. Let's take a look at the cards. It's like the part I want to find. All right, so, okay, yeah, you know what? We're going to do the cards later, because the first card that popped up, I know I'm going to run into different cards that are going to make me tell stories. So, the rulebook is 21 pages in small list, or small thing. Yeah, all right. So this box contains 40 province cards, 10 each of Cumbria, Falcon, Grossi, and Sudania, 40 window inserts, 50 bridge-size clear plastic card sleeves, 90 cards that form the draw deck, 1 first player token card, 6 Throne Point / Tarnished token cards, 7 Trade Treaty, Defense Treaty, Royal Wedding cards, 1 Month's Counter 12-sided die, 4 cheat sheets, and this rulebook. Game's objective: to build up your province's influence on the realm and claim the crown of Aquila by attaining and holding 6 throne points, or having the most throne points in the 12th turn, December. Each game should take about an hour or two. Best played with 4 players, ages 13 and up. It can be played with 3 players or even 2, but the player interactions are not as complex or engaging. So he's being honest. So basically, you shuffle the cards together. You put your die at January. You put your die at January to say what the year is beginning, and you go through the different months. The first turn, begin the first turn. Determine who goes first by any random means. One easy way to do this is to roll the month's counter once, and the player with the next birthday in that month or the following gets the first player token. Cute. So it says game rules. The Aquila Aflame game mechanic includes 10 starting attribute cards placed into bridge guides into the sleeves, along with the clear plastic window insert. So I'm going to grab a thing. So here we go. We'll grab Grossi. So we'll grab Grossi. So here's the Grossi, Grossi defense card. And the way this works, the reason why you need a sleeve, let's grab a sleeve. I'm going to show you the thing. If I can find the thing. Come on. Having trouble with it knows I don't like to use sleeves. So you put your Grossi defense card in the sleeve. And so this number, this is what everyone's going to see. They're going to see the Grossi. And look at that art. Because it's a seafaring nation, this is the Grossi card. What you're going to do is you're going to take your insert and you're going to put it in the sleeve with the card, so it only shows the one that you've chosen. So in this case, my Grossi defense would be a +0. On a turn where I've decided that I want to do, let's say I want to do a +3, you basically use the little window to flip it around and change around. So that's what's in the sleeve, and then I can just keep this on the table. And it's set. It's not like a slide or a token or a thing. It's in the sleeve. It's already on the card. It's set. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to change. So I can hide this. It can be a secret element, effectively. So if someone goes to attack Grossi, I can go, I set my defense at +3 this turn, yo. And you only and basically you set those points based off of your different your different resources and things that you have in the turn that you build up through the different cards. And you gain throne points by, let's see if I can find find a good. Certainly can't find. So there's let's see. We have Grossi espionage. Here's the Sudania art. Sudania is the land with like lots of wizards, run by the theocracy. Very like old, like Taj Mahal style. It has a very Arabian feel to it, whereas Grossi's all pirates and stuff. All right, so let me find more stuff. Oh, here's the first player token. It says first player on it. I know, shocking. But like, I'm trying to see if I can find something that's got talks about. Let's find the thing that talks about throne points. Before the game begins, each player customizes the strength and weaknesses of their province by using the window inserts one of four values printed on each of the 10 attribute cards. Different players will have different strategies, with one player opting to win with gold and another with raw might of their armies, for example. The attributes, agriculture, arcane, etc., are labeled on the back so all the players can see which is which. You may orient your cards face down to hide your chosen values if you wish, but in your first game, we suggest everyone plays attributes face up. All other cards must always be played face up during play. So the only ones that you actually get to hide are the attributes. For ease of play, you should keep your resources and agriculture attributes face up at all times. Whenever you are directly involved in any action, you must reveal all relevant attributes, even if you know you cannot win. After the action is resolved, you may put your attributes back into hiding. But savvy players will try and remember your values. The 10 attributes. Okay, so I'm not gonna give you the full. I'm not gonna sit and read this whole rulebook to you. Video would take forever. But I do want to give you the quick overview. The 10 attributes. Agriculture represents the resources you must spend to buy food for your people. Arcane. Oh, and agriculture is always written with a D next to it, kind of like how you would like in a tabletop game, like a D20. It'll be like D2, D3, D4 to indicate how many cards you must discard at the end of the resources agriculture phase. The reason why that is because agriculture takes resources to create, to build. So you have to discard cards. Arcane, the power of your court magicians. This value may be used once per month to modify any one of your attributes. So basically, if you've got an arcane of 2 or arcane of 3, once every month of the game, you can be like, I'm going to send my spellcasters to go do this thing, and you modify the attribute. Defense, your stout walls and parapets. This value is used to ignore damage done to you during your opponent's offensive actions. That's pretty straightforward. Diplomacy, the power of your ambassadors and emissaries. You use this to put agreements like treaties and royal weddings into the play. Let's see. Other player may add or subtract diplomacy to help hinder. Basically, diplomacy is like the almost like you can get into like a diplomacy bidding war over certain actions and things on the table. Divinity, the faith of your priests and people. This is the maximum number of cards you may keep in your hand. So your divinity is important because if you have a high divinity, you actually can have a lot in your hand to be able to play with. Since you may never discard an affliction, they do not count against your hand size. So if you have afflictions added to your curses and things added to your hand, they don't count. If you have a hand size of 4 and you've got 3 afflictions, you can still have 4 other cards. You're not just limited to 1 regular card. Espionage. Your intelligence apparatus. Basically use this for espionage actions against a single opponent, and it allows you to lets you compare you do an espionage action against a single opponent and compare modified totals. If your total is higher, the action is successful. If you target a permanent, so a card that has been put into play that has a printed throne point value, you must win the action by that or more points in order to win. So if like someone puts a card in play that's worth two throne points, and you do an espionage action to try and deal with it, that's going to require you to win by at least 2. It's to avoid the espionage player just basically getting to run around, offing off everyone else's victory points. You've got to be better at it to overcome that difference. Fleet, your coastal gun emplacements and navy. You initiate an offensive fleet action against a single opponent and then compare modified totals. The lower total will suffer the effects of the action. It's basically, I played this card that says it's a fleet action. If I win, it does the thing. And like I said, we'll flip through some of the cool cards, and I'll tell you some fun stories here in a second. Military, the might of your armies. Same idea, but military. Politics, the influence you hold over the Senate and legislature. The rules for the 2 politics actions are quite different. There's a whole other section of the book about politics actions. And then the last one is resources. The excess of riches in your coffers. In the resources agriculture phase, you draw 5 cards plus the value of your modified resources attribute. It helps you draw more cards if you got more resources. And then let's see if there's anything special that I want to talk about. There's a lot of different actions you take during the game. They're obviously all on your cheat sheet as well. Anything that is in player order. So whenever an action or phase indicates that choices should be made in player order, those choices begin with the acting player or the player with the first player token if no action is currently underway. Play proceeds from player to player clockwise. If a player is directly involved with the action or phase, they may choose to pass. If they currently have the highest or tied total, then a pass has no effect on future participation. All right. Remembering whether you've used your arcane. You should come up with some way to remember whether or not you've used your arcane attribute each month. You could place a token or a coin on top of it, or you could manipulate the card physically in some ritualistic way when you summon forth its magical power. Just remember to remove the token or reorient the card to its initial position in the beginning of the following month. I love that phrase because it is a clever way for Carlos to avoid saying you can tap the card for its magic power, because tap is uh, trademarked by WotC. Yeah, so each turn, the game itself is played in 12 turns, each representing 1 month at a time, starting in January and going all the way through December. Each month is divided into distinct phases in the following sequence. First player token at the beginning of the game. This token is given to one player by random. In subsequent months, the token is passed to the player to the left. So just kind of resources agriculture phase. Choose the fastest dealer to deal out the cards to each player from the draw deck. This is your agriculture thing. And then after all the cards have been drawn, each player must discard cards of their choice according to their modified agriculture attribute. D3 means you must discard 3 cards. A minus D1 on another card means that you must discard 1 fewer. A plus D1 means that you must discard 1 more. You may never discard an affliction card for your hand for any reason. Afflictions phase. Any afflictions in the cards in the player's hand must be resolved during that phase. Actions phase. In player order, each player may declare an action. Calculate throne totals. Many cards give throne points. There are a couple that subtract them. Each player adds up the total throne points in their play area and declares their total. So no secret throne points. There's no stealth win in Twilight Imperium or Settlers of Catan. You know everyone's throne points. If a player has 6 or more throne points in this phase, they immediately win the game. If there are multiple players with 6 or more, then the player with the highest total throne points wins. If 2 players are tied, then the player with the highest total cost of all their permanents is the winner. In December, during this phase, the player with the highest total throne points wins the game, with the same tiebreakers as above. The game immediately ends. So if you manage to scrape up 6 points during the year, you can win, but at the end of December, it is highest total. When a winner is determined, it is customary for the other players to say in unison, "Long live the king." It's a cute little thing. All right, so let's take a look. I've been at this for a while now. Let's take a look at some of these cards. So I want to tell you some fun stories, and just show you just some of this cool art that Carlos had done. First off, the back of the cards. It's got the Aquila Aflame symbol. Man, I'm having a hard time talking today. So we were talking about the agriculture cards. We've got the Aqueduct. This is a permanent, where it says minus D2 agriculture. So if you got to put this in play, it would stay out there. And during the agriculture phase, if your agriculture, let me see if I can find a card that's got agriculture. There we go. So let's Sudania here. If I've got my thing set at D3, and then I've got an Aqueduct in play, I'm normally discarding 3 cards in this phase, but the Aqueduct means I discard 2 less, so that I only discard 1. Very cool. So then we've got some knights, which add 1 to your military, and then down here in the corner it talks about how much it costs. Oh yeah, the Aqueduct costs 3. Because it's very cool. Mad Jack Regan. This is a permanent ally that gives someone +2 fleet and +1 resources. He was kind of a pirate king, or a nasty pirate guy that was in several of the campaigns that we played. And I want to say he actually Mad Jack. I think Riley played him for a while as a character. We got some cool things. So here's the throne point cards that you keep into play Um, that you put in play when you earn them through different things. You set these out so that way people can see them. And then because this card is not in the draw deck, it has tarnished -1 point. So you get this, and then there might be an instance where someone will play this on you, or you something happens where you lose a throne point. I like the fact that it's the same art, this fancy crown and on the fireplace, and then there's the tarnished version. The fireplace is cold, or there's cobwebs and stuff. It's I again, I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of him. Uh, then we have the political actions. We got the royal wedding, got a couple of smoochies, and then a trade treaty that you might set up with you and another player. You and the player to the right or left get +1 resources. So basically, you've created you put together a treaty with your opponent. Then we also have the defense treaty, which is both of you get +1 defense because you've decided to help one another. Let's see if there's anything other. Oh, here we go. This is I mentioned my favorite character. So this is the Crimson King. You'll note, it looks somewhat similar. So the Crimson King, it's costs 3. He's got +1 espionage, +1 fleet, and +1 resources. So the Crimson King is not the name of the character that I had built. The name of the character I built, his name was Cricket. He was an elf, an urban elf, basically like a gutter elf, and he was an absolute bastard. I played him like he was the scoundrel, I keep everybody at arm's length. He was a lech. He was a pickpocket. He ended up being an assassin, over time. But one of my favorite moments with that character, it came from like our second or third game of playing. One of my closest friends, I love him to death, Bryan Martin, was playing Ahmad, who is right here, Ahmad Bashtari. He was playing Ahmad, and the at the time we did not know that he was the king to be, but what we did know is that he was a member of like this sort of like dragon worshipping theocrat, like church knights. And I, being an absolute scumbag criminal street rat, as soon as I had the opportunity, I don't remember if it was I picked his pocket, or so. I think I lifted it off of him, but it was he had the whole he used it a couple of times for minor things. It was the like a holy signet of his order, the Order of the Dragon. Like the order. It was like if the FBI came to your house and was like, "Ma'am, do the thing." And he used it a couple of times, and I got this bright idea, and I was like, yeah, as soon as I have the opportunity, I want that seal. And so I stole it from him, and I sold it to the local thieves guild to make forgeries. And over the course of the next year of gameplay, next dozens of sessions, Riley kept like mentioning that the Order of the Dragon is making all these weird decrees, and this granary got confiscated and got set on fire by the order of the dragon, by decree of the Order of the Dragon. And Bryan Martin was like, why are my people being so crazy? And at one point he actually confronted someone in the order that was like, why is this happening? And they were like, there's a rogue agent among us. There's, like it was very fun seeing this. And also I got to have this little thing where I could kind of like, we're gonna come take your horses by the Order of the Dragon, and after the game completely finished and we were all done, everything was all, the game, we had reached the end of that story arc. We all got to kind of unveil our dirty secrets, kind of air our dirty laundry. And that was when I let Bryan know that all of the Order of the Dragon chaos, all of it, was because I stole his signet ring and sold it for, uh, I want to say it was like, I sold it for a pittance, like it was maybe a couple hundred gold or something like that. But it was to make an in the Thieves Guild, which eventually got me introduced to the Master of Assassins, which eventually made me this, level 15 death rogue assassin killing machine. Uh, and then I stopped playing for a while. Where it had some ups and downs and some things, and I was not involved in those games for a little bit. During that time was when uh, Riley asked me, he was like, "Hey, do you mind if I use Cricket to do some stuff to use him? He's risen in the ranks. Can I use him as a character?" And I was like, "Absolutely, it'd be great. Go, please do. I'd love to hear what happened." So he had Cricket, gutter elf, pickpocket, con man, assassin, pirate king. Uh, uh, Go. These are how we raised the ranks, and then eventually we did like all of us came back to the table with like level 20 versions of ourselves, and it was cool. It was an amazing thing. It was definitely one of my favorite characters that I've ever played in my whole life, and I will never forget it. And now that this game is out and it's real, where the heck did I put it? Where did I put him? I just had him a second ago. Uh, oh, here he is. But he's a card, and he's actually a very powerful card in this game. So if you go out and buy this game, which you should, and every time the Crimson King hits the table, know that it is your good friend BryanCPSteele. It's his favorite character of all time. Yeah, and there's just a bunch of really cool stuff. Let's see if I can find anything. Carl Forrester was a character we played with. Uh, Bennick. Oh, Bennick. So Bennick, +1 arcane, +2 defense, +1 espionage. He is a permanent hero. Bennick was a half orc played by Carlos in one of Milos's games. So this is the card that was played, the character played by the person who made this game, and it started out as a joke, like not a joke character, but he was like one of the first back in the 3.5 days, 3.5 D&D. He started doing a little multi-classing, just like fighter and a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and then at some point, Ahmad chose to teach him how to do a little wizardry. So he took a couple levels of mage, and then later on he became big in the church. And at the end of Bennick's career, I think he had something like he was like I think we stopped playing initially with like level 13 or 14, and he had like 6 different classes. Like he wasn't very high in any of them, but like it was this running gag that okay, I guess your level 3 fighter, level 2 wizard, level 2 rogue. Like it was awesome. Bennick was a fantastic character, and it was a lot of fun to play with. Just we'll flip through and see if there's anything else that I can remember of. The Gross Broods. Gross Broods are like, if you're a Dune fan, they are the Emperor's Sardaukar. They're like the medieval Sardaukar. Um, got hat. I love this. It's a card that specifically is an affliction called the Halflings. The halflings in Aquila are nomadic. They live in caravans, and they tend to bring chaos with them. So it's fun that they're it's fun that they are an affliction and not an ally. Let's see, you've got some ship's captain, got some diplomats, some spies. Then there's a lot of like cards that you would normally like outmaneuver. It's got a couple of knights and one guy gets stabbed. It makes perfect sense. We got a castle. We got one more stack of cards that I'd love to flip through just to make sure. We got the King's Nephew. He is just a throne point by himself. So if you manage to get the King's Nephew out, and the quote on this card is, "Well, the Queen is my aunt." It's just funny. Let's see. Anything else? No, nothing in this stack. Let's take a look at this other stack real quick because I realize this video has gone very, very, very deep. But I told you it was going to, so don't blame me for all of this awesomeness. You can blame me for this awesomeness. It's fine. Let's see. Got more stat cards. The Hierophant. So basically the main guy in the church, the leader of the church. Let's see. The Jetty. Oh yeah, the Jetty Brotherhood. The Jetty are like super devout. Yeah, they're kind of like hand-to-hand versions of the Unsullied, except not eunuchs. The Sea Witch. Oh, so this is actually my friend Tanya. Her character. She was playing an ocean-themed magic user and a warlock, I think, or at the time. And I mentioned that Cricket was a lech and a scoundrel, and he very much would give people other names, like he would nickname them, and it started out. Honestly, I can't remember what what her character's real name was, because I called her the Sea Witch for so long that it just sort of stuck. And I remember in one of our games, we went to an ocean like a port city, and people were whispering and rumors abound about the Sea Witch and her mighty power and the curses and the hexes, and Tanya was playfully livid about, that's not my name, that's not what I am. And it was so funny because she ended up kind of leaning into the rumors and the gossip, because there's power in reputation, and it was cool. It was neat. I had always hoped that at one point, Cricket and the Sea Witch would find a sunset to sail off into. So I don't know if that ever happened. Obviously not, because the Crimson King was by himself. But let's see if there's anything else that is in here that needs no, I don't think so. I think a lot of this is just like granary and fortifications, and the kinds of things that you would imagine in a medieval fantasy kingdom that's going to generate your permanence, generate your different benefits, add things to your attributes, so that when you take your actions, you can claim those things, get those throne points, win the game. The king. So here's probably the most important card in the game. Costs 5. It is the King's Son, and you'll note that it is 3 throne points. So he is worth 3 points by himself, just having the King's Son out. The King's Brother is 3, and he costs 2. So like if you get real lucky and manage to have enough resources to buy those, you're 1 throne point away from winning. it's a great game. I can't wait to play and tell you more about it in the future. But I really really hope that you will go to the link in the description of the video. Show this game some love and take it back to your gamers and play. Let's spread the love for Aquila Aflame. Not only for me, but also because it is just a fun game about basically kind of telling a Game of Thrones esque a fantasy story about trying to take the crown over the course of a year. So please go check it out. And grab a copy. And if I don't even know if in the checkout, if there's like special notes you can add, but if you do, tell them I sent you. Be like, Bryan told me to come, and I'm looking forward to playing your amazing game. So this thanks goes out to Carlos. I don't know if he'll see this video, but I thank you for 30 years of friendship, and I cannot express how proud of you I am that you, through your own wit, guile, and arcane, your wit, guile, and resources, that you finished this project on your own, and you got it out there. And I know that people will enjoy it. So, good job, bud. If that's the only reason you came to this episode, you can turn off now. You can be done, because now we go into the week in Bryan. So it's been a busy week. I have wrapped up on the Rock Band Heroes. I have wrapped up on the Dungeon in a Box adventure I was working on. I have started copious amounts of art orders for Intergalactic Heroes. Had an amazing marketing meeting about Intergalactic Heroes, which I hope that continues. That if that goes well, I think it will be a really, really, really good thing for the game and for our impending Kickstarter. Let's see what else work-wise. Apparently I just dove in and started with work. Warzone's doing well. I got to update the playtest stuff. Hopefully right after I get back from Origins, we'll have some new cool playtest things for the playtesters. I know that we ended our Worlds Beyond frontier for the strike forces for the Worlds Beyond OPR thing for Warzone. I know that we ended as kind of one of the things that sold the most. So good means there's a lot of people out there with Warzone minis or access to Warzone minis, and hopefully they will start playing Warzone, and we'll knock on wood, grow this game even further. I've got some good news about more STL type stuff for Warzone. I believe we already started mentioning it, but we are going to have our own frontiers with some bundles and packages and things to buy STLs. And at the same time, that is going to be the first time that we release the Mishima Samurai as whole. Also, it's the first time that you're going to get to see the Bauhaus Hussars and the Imperial Wolfbanes. So here in a couple weeks, we will release the lore documents. We'll have the rules and stuff, so you can get a chance to start kind of testing them out. But the goal is hopefully by the end of June to have those STLs ready, and more news on physical stuff in the future. So good stuff for Warzone coming around the pipe, stuff that people have been really, really eager for. And I can't wait, because it helps us push forward into the next set of releases, which are even cooler. I can't wait. Xenogenesis is going really well. They just dropped a really cool picture of one of my babies from the third faction that I am putting together. So we've got some of those pictures out here. That picture's out there. That's a cool picture because it's very mysterious, but it's obviously an alien that you haven't seen before. So can't wait for more on the org to come out there. Yeah, I think that's about it. Just a lot of work. Hobby-wise, I have not done anything other than prime models because I've been very busy with other things. Um, Personal, everything's going great. I had to buy a new computer. Less great. My computer died, so I had to buy a new one, and it's great. It's working really, really well. I'm very happy with it. And beyond that, oh yeah, this weekend I had to get a new car. Not had to, needed to. It was time. So Natalie and I did some car shopping on Saturday, and we got ourselves a new vehicle. So it was a very expensive month of May. I just realized that it is June, and I should have put the comments through the randominator for the May comment raffle. I didn't do that. I will, you know what? I'm gonna make a note of it, and next week's episode. This one's already gone long. Next week's episode, I will have that prepped. I apologize to the winner that you're a week past due. Um, Speaking of uh, this cool stuff and things that's past due. For all the people who have subscribed to my Patreon, please, you should. I do a bunch of really cool RPG assets that I give away to my patrons, sell to randos. Um, but I got someone left me the idea of starting with this month. I need to do a series of 3 or 4 months of creating D&D versions of He-Man, Masters of the Universe characters. Specifically, I'm going to start with some villains. So that way, people who are playing in the Thundercats role-playing game that should be out here in the next couple of months, that you'll be able to do some He-Man crossovers. Obviously, I can't use the same names, but you'll know who they're supposed to be. Uh, I'm excited. The next couple months are going to be great. Origins is in 2 weeks, where we find out whether or not Warzone gets to put something fancy after its name about the Origins Awards. So fingers crossed. Here's to hoping. Watch this space for more information. Until next time, please be safe. Wash your hands. Get your shots. Wear a mask. Don't work too hard in the heat. It's kind of nasty out there sometimes. And just don't be a jerk. Please. Leave every room a little happier than when you got there. And I think we're going to be okay. Until next week, have fun, stay safe, and play some games. Because you know I will. Bye, guys.